Fake real news. They're giving you the fakeness. We're giving you the real news right here at EKM Media Group and Associates. Things are happening all over the globe. And as things are going on, you need to know the truth about what's happening in your city, your state, and your community. You can get the truth right here at Fake Real News, right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. That is Fake Real News at DKM Media Group and Associates. Things are happening in and around your community. There's an outrage. You need to know the truth. Come and get the truth right here at Fake Real News. Fake Real News.
Welcome everyone, welcome to another episode of Fake Real News. Welcome to another episode of Fake Real News. We got a great broadcast lineup for you. We got some things going on. There we go. Welcome everyone, welcome to another episode of Fake Real News. We got a great broadcast lineup for you this afternoon. We're going to talk about a lot of things, and people might say, what is Fake Real News? It's actually a play on words. It's actually a play on words because what happened is a lot of times people say that we are playing on words, bitch. They say that we are playing on words, but your president until the 20th. Your president up until the 20th of January. He always talking about the news is so fake. The news is so fake. The news is so fake. So what we did, we took that and almost like I'm not gonna say like an insult, but a get back to him. We created Fake Real News. We can tell you what the realness is in this situation, in this world of news. And so I'm gonna go to Gregory right now and let him say his hellos. We got a couple of other people that's with us as well today. We got a great podcast lineup for you. So let me go to Greg. Your video is acting up a little bit. So before I do that, let me go to Rodney Allen Rippey. How you doing, sir?
Good morning here, reaching you out from Southern California. All is well here with Fake Real News.
Good deal. Tell us a little bit about what's going on while I go over there and do something with the camera real quick. Tell us what's going on in California. What's the atmosphere like?
Well, I mean, we got beautiful weather today. And as usual, everyone's being very cautious about what's happening during this holiday season. A lot of people have, different cities have seen a huge spike. I was listening to the news last night, and here in Santa Ana, California, the mayor has made it a mandate that everyone must wear masks. He says he is trying not to criminalize the situation, but he's trying to make sure that people need to know that they are going to be stopped immediately and warned. If not, I don't know what the consequences are just yet, because they're not trying to make matters worse, so to speak, but they are definitely heavily encouraging everyone. Like the city of Santa Monica's pushing it pretty heavy to make sure people are wearing masks, and people there are pretty, okay with it. But Santa Ana is something that's new, that has come up, and every city is trying to make sure that they're doing their best. And some cities a little more than others. Basically, they're trying to go 100 days. They want to see if we can get 100 days with people wearing masks to see if they could kind of flatten out the curve a little bit.
Okay, good deal. Now what I'm going to do now, let me switch myself back here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to Bishop and go to Bishop and let him introduce himself and say a little bit about what's going on in his atmosphere. Bishop.
Good afternoon. Appreciate it, Raheem, and thank everyone for viewing Fake Real News. Glad to have our correspondent in California, Rodney Allen Rippey, and it's an honor to come before you to talk about some of the things that we consider serious issues. President Trump has always called everything and called the media fake news. He speaks more than anything, taking care of the needs of the American people. So with that being said, if I can start off, we'll start off talking about the legal battles that Donald Trump is trying to impose on various states because Joe Biden has won those states. It is unfair that he take tax dollars and occupy all those times as well as those campaign contributions that were given to us as campaign to pay for some legal fees, but when he lost the campaign, he should walk away with his head held high and walk away graciously and turn everything over to Joe Biden. But instead, he wants to argue and protest and continue to go on. He had to do a count over and over again, and the count still showed that Joe Biden won the election. The electoral college, where it stands right now, shows Joe Biden has 306 electoral colleges, and Donald Trump have 232 electoral colleges. So whether the count had come up either way it go, Joe Biden still would have had enough electoral colleges to win the White House. So I give honor to Joe Biden, our president-elect, Kamala Harris, our vice president-elect, and I'm looking forward to seeing them do some great things for the American people. Thank you, Raheem.
Good deal, good deal. And we also have with us right now, we have our Minister Odell Neal is with us as well. He's actually out of I was about to say California, but he's actually from Florida, but he's here in Atlanta. So let me see, can I pull him on the screen? Good afternoon, sir. How you doing this afternoon? Can we hear you? Oh, your microphone is muted, brother. There you go. Good afternoon. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How's everybody?
You're here on Fake Real News. Fake Real News. We're talking about, and Gregory Allen, he just brought up about the election and what your soon to be ex-president has done or trying to do. What do you say to that?
I think right now it's an embarrassment because to you and other people who voted for him, I really think that now y'all understand that you voted this wasted, and that I think that, and I say it's wasted in a way that he never really took the election and democracy of this country serious. He was all a game to him, and I truly believe right now that he is exhibiting that in so many ways, even to the point that he's having people. He has everything. It's funny you say fake news when everything he's been claiming has been false. He has not yet. And say matter of fact, it'll be a month. It was a month yesterday, the day before yesterday, it was a month of the election. He's yet produced any evidence of his claim. So that's saying to you that he hasn't really, he's never taken democracy here seriously. He's always taking it as a joke. So what he's doing, he's actually going in now and he's trying to take people's mind and the way they think, because you got to think he'll be here in Georgia either today or tomorrow.
Today.
Now think about how condescending this is. He's telling you that this election was rigged and it was stolen from him. But then at the same time, he's telling you democracy don't work, but vote anyway. That's kind of condescending.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Now we're about right now. I'm trying to get myself back there. There we go. What we're going to do right now, I'm actually going to go back to Rodney and have him tell his take on what he thinks and what are the injustices on what President Trump is saying and is trying to do. Rodney, what's on your heart?
Well, as we know, America has been one to be filled with a lot of freedoms, and now there are certain things that are being questioned. There's a lot of people thinking about the current situation. They're saying about different states. Now, this is a very, very serious question about democracy and how things have been run, and they are heavily. There's a lot of finger pointing going on, and so of course, our current president or sitting president has been saying that he is here to drain the swamp. And so these are some very, very serious allegations that's being made. And of course, these things have to be proven. And again, this thing has moved beyond just political or party griping. This is some very serious allegations about what's going on. And there are people, and sadly, our internet is filled with speculation. And there's a lot of people weighing in on it. And I think they have to really get this stuff under control, because the state of America and our reputation around the world, they're now talking. I was online and I was just looking at what various countries around the world are saying. And as you know, America's been filled with so many freedoms, so many blessings, and now these things are being challenged. And a lot of people around the world are happy to see us imploding, so to speak, within. So hopefully America can get it together, these political parties can get right, and trust in the system. I mean, you know, we've never have had such, incredible things going on as we do right now. Everyone's saying that the system is broken. Who do you trust? I mean, even when it comes down to the vaccine, there are people saying, I'm not taking that because it seemed to have been rushed. But then again, there's a lot of people who need it. And sadly, where do you go in a situation like this? I mean, so many people are concerned about how to avoid coronavirus, and is there a vaccination? And is this vaccination a double-pronged approach, or is it going to do more than just, there are people saying this stuff is going to track you. And so we have to get to the real root of the truth and honesty. And if there is something that is going to help the people, a vaccine of such, that's what needs to happen. But all the other added things, this thing has to get really under control. I mean, these are some very serious allegations, and we have to trust our legal system. We have to trust our voting system, and and of course, as they say, trust but verify. So here we go. I think everybody's gonna wait to see what happens. And there's a lot of an amazing people watching, monitoring, and again, just like there are many shows out there, and just like Fake Real News, people trying to get to the bottom and get information out to our viewers and different people and actually weigh in on what's going on. But the goal is we have to check the message, check the messenger, check the message, and find out, is it truth? What is it? And so hopefully these legal proceedings that they're saying is going on, the American people must stay very close to it and really do a lot of studying to find out what's happening.
Absolutely. One of the things that I know in our community, one of the things that I know make people that has people a little set back in regards to taking that whole vaccine is what happened with the syphilis situation. That's something that is real in our community. That's something that's real in our community. And to have something like that to happen on the soils of America, and then a few years later, now you have this pandemic that's come out, and they're saying that they want to use us again. And we should be some of the first ones that's actually taking this vaccine. That may be a little suspect. And give people reason, justified or not, but give them reason to be a little apprehensive when it comes to taking that particular vaccine. What do you say to that, Bishop?
Well, I have to agree with you when you alluded to the Tuskegee experiment. They injected those black men with the syphilis virus, and they didn't want to see how it would affect, how they would behave. And the same thing with this so-called vaccination for the COVID. It has not been, altogether proved or clear. But I did see one doctor say that he did take it, and he don't feel any different, which, that's him. What may affect someone may not affect someone else the same way. And so I myself am somewhat apprehensive about taking this antivirus for the COVID-19. And I don't want everyone to be fearful of doing it. But if you be persuaded by your own mind as it relates to taking that virus or taking that shot to see whether or not they want to clear it up, whether or not we'll clear it up. The thing that bothers me most is the fact being that they asked for blacks to volunteer to take this virus vaccination. That's the thing that got me. And why would you want blacks particularly to take this vaccination when it's supposed to be clearing everybody? That's the thing that bothers me. So if you talk about fake real news, then we're talking about real. And this is the real truth. Let's look at it in totality. Don't go along and be the guinea pig for someone else. Think about it before you do it, and then count the cost. Back to you, Raheem.
Exactly. And that's one of the things, and that's one of the realities of this. We're fearful, rightfully so. We are fearful in that we have been on the short end of the stick. We've been on the short end of the stick far too many times, far too often on the short end of the stick, and are we willing? Are we willing to be trusting in this situation? Are we willing to be trusting? Let me go to Ricky. Ricky, what do you say to that?
I mean, everybody, I understand. I hear their reservations about this vaccine. This vaccine, and it's warranted. And I'm gonna say that to you because, I work in a lab, and actually, my company is actually addressing the therapy for the coronavirus. And let me say this: when I work with primates, I got on with a guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a prominent doctor here up in Washington, D.C. When I worked at NIH. He had been working on a method to resolve the medicine to skin for about maybe like, when I got on, I'm going to say he's been about 15 years. About 15 years. So can you imagine the protocol and steps that go through from it starts anytime you do any kind of research, it starts from the lowest all the way to the top. And we as humans, we are considered the top percentage. But the reservation that people are having, scientists wise, if you listen to them talk, they always say, and Dr. Fauci continues to say this, well, we really don't have it yet. It's coming. The reason why, because the trials that they're talking about are the primate trials. What happens is that they're trying to expedite that. That's where a lot of these scientists are not really want to sign on with it because of the side effects that comes with it. So then we go fast forward. Backtrack when you were talking about Tuskegee experiment. I can give you one that's right now that's going on right now. That's in the cigarette industry. The cigarettes, every year they come out with a method to see how do they can reduce cancer through the filter. Where do you think those cigarettes are sold? I'm talking about this goes on yearly. That people don't even address it. That's one of the reasons why they were talking about how they are now coming out with this campaign about they're telling people it's why vaping came out, because what happened was that you had a lot of white kids who were buying cigarettes in our neighborhood, and they were starting to get affected by these different side effects of these different filters. That's how vaping came into effect. And you know how all of a sudden, boom, I know what I'm talking about. You can smoke and not have it can reduce your cancer rate by vaping. The reason why they were doing this because for the simple fact that a lot of people outside of our community started coming to our community and they were picking up cigarettes. That's why I say, look at this whole thing and why, if you listen to some of these scientists and listen to what they're really saying, they're telling you, yeah, it's a vaccine. But it's a but behind it, meaning they have reservations behind it because of the simple fact of the length of time that they're doing it. This something that has gone for a long time. And the only reason why they're really expediting it because a lot of the elderly are really getting involved. They're really suffering from it. So now it's like, wow, we got to do something. We have to show the people that we're doing something. And just because you're showing the people that you're doing something doesn't mean it's right. That's why I kind of commend Biden for what he said this morning when I got off the podcast. I looked at some of the news and he said something that was very powerful. He said for the first 100 days, I'm going to employ that everybody wear masks for 100 days, and we're going to see what happens. If we would have started wearing masks back in March, I truly believe that a lot of these issues would have been turned around. And I'm saying this to you because you got to understand something. This virus once you sneeze or cough, it's like a mist. And they said actually it's airborne between they peeled it down to I think it was 11 minutes. So before when they first started finding out about this thing, it was about 15 minutes. That's a long time to be in the air. That's the reason why they were telling you wipe everything down, wipe everything down, wipe everything down. Because they were saying that there's a cross contamination when you touch something that these spores are landing on. And again, we have to sit back and wait a minute and think about it science-wise. Think about it. Do I have reservations about this vaccine? Heck yeah, I'm not going to. I'll take it four generations down three other generations down the line. That'll be the fourth generation. I'm not going to take it the first couple of generations. I'm not going to do it. That's just me. Because I worked in the field. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to do it.
That's good. That's good. And see, that's the thing right there. A lot of people feel that very same way, that they're not going to take it, don't want to take it, will not take it, because they don't want to be that guinea pig. They don't want to be that guinea pig. We have Rico with us. Good evening, Rico. How you doing, brother?
Man, good evening. How's everybody doing, man?
Hey, doing good, doing good. This is Fake Real News. What we're talking about right now, Rico, we're talking about that vaccine. Are you going to take it?
No. I'm like W. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you ain't gonna get me again. He messed it all up when he said it. But you know, we got to pay attention to history. We got to pay attention to precedents. This country, this government, and the people in power, those in power have shown you really and truly how they would treat the masses and the public of the United States if they choose to. They have shown us already what information they will release to us and what they will withhold. They've shown us through Tuskegee experiments and all kind of different experiments and conspiracies that we really can't trust them until they prove to us that they're telling the truth. So I ain't taking no vaccine until it's proven to me that it's safe and that it works. It's gonna take me a couple of years. You ain't gonna catch me 3 years later talking about some way. This is an effect from the vaccine, because look at what they said autism came from. We got an epidemic of autism. At first we were like, man, that autism don't exist. ADHD don't exist. These children that need their butts whooped. Now guess what? Autism is real. And if you think about it, the numbers have multiplied compared to what we saw 4 decades ago, which was probably here and now. You saw somebody that may have been classified as autistic. Now you have one autistic person in it, just about every household. Everywhere you go, you can see somebody suffering from autism, regular basis. Well, there's certain things that the government put in place and made normal that made that happen. And they already found out that it came from vaccines. So why would we be foolish enough to not respect our history and know the know the history of this country and know the history of medicine in the medical field? Why would we ignore that? We have to protect ourselves and we have to be more aware of what's going on.
Good deal, good deal. And that's the thing right there. And that's the very reason why. That's the very reason why we in our community are very hesitant in regards to taking this vaccine. Greg, what's on your heart?
Well, going back to the vaccine, and I understand they're paying individuals to take the vaccine. They're paying up to $750, and people are quick to go along and say, okay, that's $750 I can take. Pay attention to the underlying statement. They're paying up to. That don't mean you're gonna get the $750. But I'm still leery about trying to worry about taking some kind of vaccine. And they say this virus is airborne. So if you're within such and such feet of it, well, what if the room is full of people and I have 6 feet distance between me, him, and them, but yet if it's airborne, unless I have on my mask, I'm susceptible to get it. And what about the nurse that did contract the virus? But yet if it's airborne, what about so if it's going to be, you have to just make sure that you shot on the side of caution, protect yourself, wear your mask, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, and keep it moving. So, I commend Joe Biden for wanting to come in and take the lead, since President Trump has already took the back seat because he's still mad and upset about losing the election. But he's still in the White House. He still has an obligation to the American people to try to do what he can to try to prevent the virus. Now he wants the vaccine named after him. Why do you want a vaccine named after you? So you can get some type of glory, get some type of accolades, because your entire presidency has been a failure. So is that what you want to do? Get to take credit for a vaccine that you did not create, that you had nothing to do with, Pfizer or someone of the pharmaceutical company did it, but now you want to take credit for it. This is why we need Joe Biden to be on the forefront. And as we speak, if I can move on to another topic, he's now trying to make Congress, he's trying to hold Congress accountable to come up with another $1,200 stimulus relief. And I'm talking about Joe Biden. Before December is out. This is admirable. But Donald Trump said the only way y'all get a stimulus check from him is he got to be reelected as president. That's not a leader. That's not a leader. And he wants vainglory. I'm so happy for America, and I'm looking for us to be on the uptick under the leadership of Biden and Harris. Back to you, Raheem.
Wow. And actually that was going to be my next topic that I was going to talk about, this whole stimulus check. And from what I understand, their businesses are supposed to get it. A lot of businesses are supposed to get it, but individuals won't get anything. Like the last time, I think it was $1,200 or whatever the case, they gave them each individual $1,200. From what I understand, and Rodney, I'm coming to you next, are individuals getting it, or is this just for the businesses? What do you say to that, Rodney? You muted, bro.
Here.
Right.
Okay. We have a lot of things happening here in Southern California, especially when it comes down to this stimulus. And people are saying there's certain requirements that may happen. I'm looking at it from the business standpoint, because I've been talking to different banking institutions and people just in business, and finding out that these dollars are very seriously needed. I mean, businesses are trying, but here's the big thing that's actually happening right now. They are talking about the amount of this is on Yahoo News, which is above me. California spent $1 billion in jobless benefits out to outside people who are not even living in California because the system is broken. They said that there is rampant people out there who are actually widespread doing fraud. And so now this is a huge problem. Governor Gavin Newsom is really uptight about this, because they're trying to get to the bottom of how people outside of California are getting checks. And so this system is very serious right now, because this problem is horrible. And it's sad that people need money. I mean, legitimately need money. They've been displaced from their jobs, and they need this opportunity to just kind of keep things together. The bad part is that also brings out the crooks, and a lot of people who are, criminally minded in that way. They go, hey, this is an opportunity for us to get in, and they start building systems. And there are people who are going to jail for that, and people taking advantage of the system and taking that kind of a risk. So, I mean, legitimately, there are things hopefully we'll have time to talk about today is also how people are going to handle holiday spending. There's some different reports and things and information that I have here that people are looking at. How are they going to get through the holidays? And this is not going to be your typical holiday. They are really pulling back. So
share that information, right? Share that information about the Christmas tree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. we're looking at holiday spending. Basically, this is from mintinstitute.com, and they said 10% of Americans have budgeted to really pull back this year. They said that 21% of customers are saying that they're going to be buying fewer gifts, and that's from the Morning Consultant. 33% of adults are trying to spend less due to COVID-19. Roughly in 2019, budgets fluctuated, but urban shoppers plan to spend roughly $200 more than what they had spent. But there are some very serious things, and they don't understand how people are going to actually get through this. What they're saying now, people are not, of course, not going out to stores, so they're doing a whole lot of online shopping. But again, it is going to be budgeted. People are going to really tighten their belts this year. And I think that we have to remember the real reason for the season. And of course, you know, everyone likes to get gifts, but at this time we need to focus on how do we kind of get through this thing and recover, because, you know, and I'm sure young people have to understand, and that's a whole nother thing, that young people are being so emotionally drained by this COVID. They're being taken away from their friends in school and having to do it. And I was speaking with a colleague of mine from Bloodline Sports. He's an actual teacher here in the LA Unified School District, and they said that there is some real serious fallout. Children's grades are falling, and parents don't know what to do. A lot of times parents in the past have just said, okay, Johnny, here you go to school. Now parents are having to be engaged in this, and they just don't know how to help their children. So it's a very serious issue what's going on right now. And hopefully we're going to get over this thing and hopefully get back to a little bit of normal. People are saying this is the new normal. I sincerely hope not, because businesses can't handle this. And I don't care about the funding and things that's coming in, simply because what if it stops? If all Americans say, okay, well, you know, I can't go to work, I got to get this stimulus check. What if the government crashes? What are we going to do? If you don't have a means of actually making money, what are you going to do? So I think rather than look at it as an opportunistic way of just taking, we need to be trying to figure out, what are we going to do if this machine stops? I think you don't hear anybody talking about this. Everybody's talking about, well, we need the stimulus. What if the machine stops? What if this thing stops? How are we going to survive? How are we going to pay bills, light bills, car payments, mortgages, you know, rent? How are people going to survive? So these are some very serious things. And so the first thing is, how do we get back to production? How do we get back where people can start working, earning a living, and companies can remain strong and keep people employed, you know? So these are some very serious, this is a very serious time. We're going to have to do some serious praying and a whole lot of working at the same time to work around these issues and to fix these problems. And again, wearing a mask, you know, President Biden is saying that he wants people to wear masks for 100 days. Fine. I mean, I'm personally, Ian, I'm going to wear a mask, if nothing else, to protect myself from somebody who don't want to wear a mask. And matter of fact, there's also a couple other little quick things, this was from Health and from MSN. These are 7 quick tips to staying healthy. And this is from a Yale doctor. Basically, when you're at a restaurant, do not lay your forks, your utensils on the table. A lot of people just don't really think about it. I don't know why, but they're also saying, when you're at a family function, limit the amount of passing the bowls around. Get one person to serve. That at least cuts down. If you got 7 people, let one person serve the 7. That means you don't have to have 7 people touching the utensils, the bowls, the handles on your ladles and things like that. So let's have a safe holiday time. When you're on the airline, make sure the airlines are doing a great job. They're sanitizing the best you can, but make sure if you're resting your hands on things, keep your hands sanitized. That's number 2. Number 3, hold on. Number 3 is here we go. When you're back at the office, make sure, the office places, they're trying to sanitize. You have to make sure that you're doing your best and avoid areas when you go in and you're touching door handles. A lot of times when I wash my hands, when I'm out in public, I take my napkin with me. I turn the doorknob, and hopefully there's a wastebasket right there because I'm trying to find the nearest wastebasket. I use my foot to hold the door open, and I discard of the napkin. That is just the best way to take care of yourself. If you're traveling for work and you're in hotels, make sure that you are mindful that you are not at home and you need to be safeguarding yourself. Public transportation, make sure that you do the best that you can to keep your hands sanitized. And last but not least, when you're in an elevator or in closed places, hey, I know if you are able-bodied, take the stairs. If it's an opportunity for you to walk up a flight of stairs, walk up the flight of stairs. Try not to enclose yourself in with people the best that you can. So those are some little tips right there that I got.
Good deal.
Yep.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal. And I hope everybody be very mindful of the tips that you gave. Some of them I didn't think of. Some of them I didn't think of. So you have to be very mindful of what's going on and who you are coming in contact with and how you're coming in contact with those two individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, bro?
You echoing pretty bad. I just want to let you know that. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This entire system we live in, it's so flawed that it was inevitable for this to happen. Somewhere down the road, this system that the United States is living by was doomed to crash. It's just a matter of time before you can keep on putting band-aids over different places to fix it. It was on a certain amount of time before you go have so many more wars to make your dollar still be relevant. But now it's to a point to where the belief system, which I believe is sort of, I believe it favors, I ain't gonna say it favors, it's flawed because of capitalism and materialism. The capitalism made a situation where it created haves and have-nots. And it made it cool to have and have-nots, acceptable. And now we have a problem where you have the haves and have-nots created, and you have laws created to give certain people their power, rights, and access, like with the stimulus package, right? So now with the stimulus package, the haves will benefit from that. But the have-nots are going to find some kind of illegal or quick way to get into this system that was already pretty much flawed anyway. So now we got this issue of, it's wrong that they already had the stimulus package set up only certain people to get, those that already have. But then you have those at the bottom that you don't want to get any kind of access. You're trying to find ways to prevent them from even getting access to it because they use these same loopholes that you use for corporations. Donald Trump used loopholes. It ain't his fault that he don't pay taxes. And then his supporters say, well, you know what? I'm not mad that a billionaire doesn't pay his fair taxes to the United States government when for the last few decades, that's all they've been talking about is a person being patriotic and doing their part for the country. But now all of a sudden Trump getting off. Well, it ain't about what's right. It's about winning. It's about utilizing the access that you have to cheat. It ain't cheating now. It ain't cheating if it's available for you to use it. It's right there. Even though it might not be fair, but that's just how the game is played. So now how long do the United States feel like they can survive when they got this double standard that they live by in every angle of society that we got? Every angle of society we got, it all really depends on haves and have-nots, winners and losers. So, this situation that we're in, like Rodney just said a second ago, not only if the government crashes, what if the dollar crashes? Mm-hmm. So we done got so far away from the basics We don't got so far away from basics to the point to where we cherished our luxuries. And now the new norm is not normal, because the new norm would be riding around without an AC in your car and rolling the windows down. The new norm would be having a window fan in your window instead of a. Because what if that crash? You know, so we so many different situations that we can look at that we won't be able to survive because we don't even know any of the ways of our ancestors, our predecessors. Our grandparents, they survived and lived off the bare minimum, and now we can't even survive with the bare minimum. And that's a terrible situation. I mean, just think about what kind of situation we're in now. Think about our condition to not be able to survive the same conditions as our grandparents and great-grandparents. We can't survive a tenth of the hardships that they went through. We complaining. But the government in this system, the capitalism and materialism, has us so dependent on the government and on technology to the point now where we can't even do simple things on our own. If the dollar crash, if we go into recession, we ain't gonna make it. No, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna eat potted meat. I ain't gotta eat steak. I'm gonna fry bologna. I know how to go back. I can humble myself. But see, we don't want to humble ourselves because we have embraced and we condone and cherish these luxuries and this technology and this new stuff so much that we don't want to let go and get back to the things that are more important, which is mainly survival. We could survive without that dollar, but we so dependent on that piece of paper and been so distracted and bamboozled to the point that we forget we can do some farming and bartering. It's a way to make it. We don't have to depend on that system. We just like it.
Exactly.
Ooh.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good. Let me go to Rick. Rick, on your heart.
I'm actually just listening because listening to people's comments about
Can't hear you.
what.
Yeah, it's a little bit low. Brother.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Let me
Okay.
come back in.
Why you do that? Let me go to Greg. What's on your heart? Talk.
We want to talk a little bit about the affairs dealing with Georgia and the threat that has gone through some of the election workers. And it's a shame that Gabriel had to ask the people to stop threatening young folks that are just doing the count. That's all they're doing. They're doing the count. This is nothing that should not be taking place. They shouldn't be questioning the validity of the counts. They put a place, Republicans put a plan in place to vote. And now they're going against their own plan, something that they wanted to be able to do to counter and control the votes. Now they're going against what they put in place. Brad Raffensperger, he's been questioned. Brian Kemp, President Trump talked about Brian Kemp. In fact, he went on to say he didn't support Brian Kemp and he's a disgrace to the state of Georgia. Now, to be honest, if I bring my opinion in, and I believe I'm entitled to do so, I could not honor and serve a man that tries to destroy me as a person, particularly the man of the free word, criticizing one of the governors of the 50 states that he oversees. So it's a shame that we deal with this. It's the reality of what we're facing on a daily basis as it relates to this election, as it relates to the recount, as it relates to COVID. We're talking about so many different things. But then if you're concerned about the country moving forward, then he would stop all these frivolous lawsuits. He himself would turn around and accept the inevitability that he lost the election, and he would go along and approve or try to get the stimulus check sent out to those who are really suffering and need those financial resources. That's what I have to say. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Get back here. There we go. Number one. All right. Now I'm going to bring Minister Neal back into the picture here. We got actually have all three of us on at the same time. Minister Neal, what's on your heart now that you've gone out and come back in? Hopefully, we have a better volume setting. So, what is on your heart about this whole situation? President Trump is talking badly about the very people that he endorsed, even to the point where he said, "I hate that I even do this shit. I hate that I even do this shit." Go ahead, Mr.
Well,
Neal.
first of all, you should never voted for him. That's number one. From there, we discuss that later privately. You voted for him. I hate that you did that for him. I'll let that go. But I still think that we have to understand what we're dealing with and how we're dealing with this person. I'm gonna say something. Just to back me up with this, he's just a modern day Saul, and he's someone that they elected and they wanted, and in the course of them doing it, what they ended up doing is that they got exactly what they wanted. And now that they see that he doesn't care about them in that, because even right now, I was looking at something where he made a comment pertaining to the current administration here in Georgia, and how Kemp opened the state up for him back in July, when everybody else was only 2 states that was open, that was Georgia and Florida. Everybody else was reluctant about opening states up. Those were the only 2 governors that opened states up. And for him to say the other things he said about Kemp, I just say that the devil don't have no love. What did they say? I don't care how nice you are to the devil, but the devil's still gonna be the devil. Period. And that's what's happening with him. But him talking about people, that's nothing. That's what he does. Look at the people he's around. I had a person say something to me that he insults people because he knows that that's how he galvanizes people. You mean tell me insults, but you never talk about the topic. You always want to insult people. So again, the devil's gonna be the devil. Not saying he is the devil, but he has devil's ways.
Wow.
And that's the saddest part of it all. That's the saddest part of it all. You have so many people. He was in office for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
People saw what he did before, during, and soon they will see what he's going to do after. But my whole thing about it is, how would you vote? How would you vote for this man? You vote him in office. He's the same guy that he's the one that grabbed the young ladies by their tatas in their private parts. He's that guy. He's the guy, the same guy that said that if somebody was to act up like that, a individual, certain group of people would act up like that back in the good old days. They will haul out there and do all kind of unthinkable things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same individual that will not denounce white supremacy. Will not denounce. He told him he had some kind of fancy little slick verbiage that he used. Stand back, stand down, whatever that was. He said, I don't even want to actually repeat it. But yet and still, with all of these things that we're talking about, this is the same individual that you, America, a part of America, wanted to vote back in for another 4 years. And now you're walking around, you're very upset, doing all kind of unthinkable things in support of this individual because he did not make it back to office. Leads you to kind of wonder a little bit. Leads you to wonder. Just that you had your hand up. I thought you had your hand up.
I want to say something right quick.
Go ahead, bro.
It's something that's very interesting that he said that they voted for him. And now where do those people go? I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I was reading something online, and remember when Q came out and was talking about the black agenda that the contractor had with black folks, right? He released a statement on Friday on Wednesday, and I was reading it, and I followed Roland Martin. Roland Martin had it on the show. And I was reading it, and he had it up, and he was reading it, and he said something that was very interesting. What you just said is that how do you back a president who by the work has showed there's nothing but chaos? And Q made a very, very interesting statement in his press release. He said, I really didn't care who was going to be president. And I thought about what we were talking about now about the stimulus check and what Bishop said about how selfish how demeaning that was for him to say the only way you can get a stimulus check is through me being president again. But you're telling the black folk that you were going to have us, but on the side. You're telling us now who's going to hold office. You understand? That's kind of condescending. And it was kind of interesting you said that about the people who backed him. And my thing is that we have to step back now and understand that we are in a crisis when it comes to America really don't want to help Americans. That's what it comes down to. Black folk don't really want to help black folk, and white folk really don't want to help white folk. Because in his eye, he don't care if he's white or black when it comes to the coronavirus. He doesn't. His whole objective was to make sure that he got elected. That was it. Nothing else. He didn't care about. He don't care. If he actually cared about anything, he would have never made that statement about. And you got to think, you have just as many white folks suffering just as much as black folks suffering. Because now, if you think about it, their population has risen as well with the coronavirus. Again, he has done nothing. He has said nothing, and he's done nothing. But you telling me now that you it doesn't really matter to you who was in office. But why would you say that when it matters to me? Because this man is mistreating us out here. But you telling us it ain't matter to you. So why did you come and say you had a contract then? What was your purpose? What was your purpose? What was your real point? That's why when he first came out with it, I was like, bro, you're not a politician, so I don't believe nothing you say. And I love you. You got some banging albums, but you're not a politician, bro. Simple as that. I didn't believe none of it. And that's horrible. That you would actually send people out here to try to infiltrate the black community and try to fool them. And that's what it was. At the end of the day, that's what it became. That's what it came down to. He was trying to trick them, and it didn't work.
Wow, good deal. Now, we got what, a good 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes on to go around and give everybody a minute or two to say something in their closing. I wish we had a little more time. We out of here actually at 2:06, 2:05 actually. So I'm gonna go to Bishop right now. Greg, what's on your heart?
Well, I tell you, we just have to pray. And thank God for Fake Real News to talk about issues and topics that we're facing in this world today. And I most definitely want to appreciate, let Rodney Allen know how much we appreciate him coming in and calling in from California to give us an update on what's taking place. And I welcome Minister Neil as well as Brother Rico coming in to give their correspondence today. So it's just an honor, Raheem, for us to be able to do this. And I want to thank you so much for this platform.
Praise God. Praise God. Let's go to Rodney. Rodney, in your closing, brother. We got just a few more minutes. What would you like to say?
Real quick, thank God for all you brothers out there and the people who are praying and trying to make this thing and make this thing happen. One last little update. As we move towards the holidays, please beware. This is from AARP, and they have a fraud watch network, 877-908-3360. 877-908-3360. Make sure they said charity scams, be careful. Watch these calls coming in. Delivery scams, be careful. If you got package coming in, people are grabbing package. And travel scams. If these rates are too good, if anything is being sent to you and it's too good to believe, don't believe it. Check and verify. Make sure you're being careful. There are a lot of holiday scams out there. God bless everybody. Thank you for having me on, Raheem. And keep watching Fake Real News, everybody.
Good deal. Now let me go to Minister Neil. Ricky, what's on your heart, bro? In your closing.
Hey, just want to say, man, it's an honor, and it's the first time I've ever participated in this platform here. And I love it. And again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, who has tuned in, and also to this panel who has brought some very enlightening information. And I want to thank my dear brother for giving out those warnings. But I think those are things right now that we have to be careful about because again, you always remember desperation reigns on disobedience, and you can get desperate enough that you will not. And sometimes you will ignore the signs. I'm glad he put that information out there so that way we'll be aware of it, and that again that we'll be able to move forward. Again, thank everybody again for allowing me to come in, and hey, I'll be back.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, you got a half a minute. I got to play my closing, brother. What would you like to say?
Hey, I just want to say, man, human beings of the world, human beings of the United States, we got some soul searching to do. There are so many different things we can make a point about. We could talk about Trump. We could talk about Trump being the devil, but he got a bunch of more devils that supported him. Before he became president, he had people that was against him that all of a sudden turned around to support him. So we got some soul searching to do. We just can't ignore all the devil and all some of the devil and some of the evil. We got to acknowledge all of it. We got to realize all of it, or we're going to continue going in this cycle with our.
Good deal, good deal. And for the sake of our sponsors, our supporters, we're not calling anybody the devil. Not calling anybody the devil. That's not what we're saying. But
just devilish ways. Just devilish ways. Just devilish ways, bro.
So for our supporters and the people that actually are supporters, just want to make that clear. Now, this has been Fake Real News. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media and the associates to be a part of your day. It is now the end. We come to another end of another episode of Fake Real News. But before we go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, right there, simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Let me shine some of this light on you from Fake Real News. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. You all have a great day. Take an opportunity if you get it. Love somebody. You just might find some love in return. This is the end of another great episode. See you next week right here at Fake Real News.
Fake Real News. They giving you the fakeness. We're giving you the real news right here at DKM Media Group and Associates. Things are happening all over the globe. And as things are going on, you need to know the truth about what's happening in your city, your state, and your community. You can get the truth right here at Fake Real News, right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. That is Fake Real News at DKM Media Group and Associates. Things are happening in and around your community. There's outrage. You need to know the truth. Come and get the truth right here at Fake Real News.
All right, guys. God bless.